Die sind diese Woche noch größer.
Ich glaube, die Früchte sind eher ganz lang. Willst du so Kunst machen? My biceps hurts. Hey practitioners, after a good week of training, we took the kids, hopped into the car and met some friends in the mountains. We went to an area in Saxonia where there's not so many possibilities to boulder. It's more a rope climbing area. But there are a few options, and this was the first time we went to this spot. One of the highlights definitely was the huge amount of blueberries we found there. So the kids had a real feast. And in the evening, my son told me that he really loved this trip because of the blueberries. For us, it's like a 2-hour drive, and we went there in the morning, came back in the evening. And although we don't do something like this every weekend, we try to regularly go deeper into nature. We are not living in the city center of Berlin, but it's still the city. And it's still something very different if you're in the deep forest, in the mountains, at the sea. I believe it is something very important for the kids, also for the grown-ups. But kids, when they grow up, they need the regular exposure to nature. The unfolding of the soul that is happening needs this contact. For many grown-ups, being in nature means trekking or taking longer walks. This is not really what kids prefer, as this is not very playful. Something much more suitable for kids is something like I'm showing here in the video, where we went to a place where they can play, and they will automatically play because the environment invites play. Rocks always work for this. And also I had some time to practice here, climbing up the rocks, doing some of the marked routes, although many of them were quite hard, as often these lesser known areas are made by the real climbing geeks, and the difficulty of the marked routes is very high. But obviously you can do whatever you want there, you can find your solutions and the rocks that interest you. But it's still an interesting connection to do something similar to what someone else has already done and see how is that for you, how does that work for you. I have to say, such trips are so much easier to make with a car. And this is also one of the main reasons why I have a car. Although we actually live at a place where the public transport is pretty terrible, and we would often need 2 to 4 times the time to get anywhere. But the main reason is to be able to quickly go into the countryside, to spend time in nature and to expose the kids to the deep nature, the mountains, the forest, the ocean. Alright guys, continue.